Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I'd do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I'd do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I'd do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I'd do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I'd do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I do it again.
Look, I have no words for this.
You just unironically called this man daddy. And I do it again.
Oh. When you don't have your mic on. Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be doing some viewer requests SCPs. This has been a long time coming, and I hope you all will join me. Today, like any other day, am I heard okay? Is everything alright? Sorry, you had something on your ear. I couldn't let you walk around like that. Today we're going to be reading some SCPs. Random at first, but then whichever ones you would like to hear about. As you can possibly tell, I'm so delighted to be back. And of course, everything works. Hopefully, and we'll kind of go from there. Either way, welcome in. If this is your first time viewing me, my name is Grimoire Index, and I am a spooky story, cozy ASMR VTuber. Thank you for the Bezos bucks. Welcome back. Thank you. If you could do me a huge favor and check the RPG command, please. Failed to send. That's not good. Oh, it looks like it's working just fine. Wonderful. Had to send it twice. Huh. That's weird. Twitch baby, congrats. Twitch baby, what? Is there what? Am I missing? Did I miss some context? Daughter used to say that all the time and I was confused for the longest. Oh, 9 months! I get it! I get it! I get it! I get it when someone subscribes for 9 months! Twitch baby! Oh, well. Doodles. Thank you for having my Twitch baby. I will call it. I guess I will follow after that. Thank you for following, Chiquis. Welcome to the library, Paradoxic. I will hopefully, do I have to pay child support? Or, like, is that... I mean, it's a Twitch baby, right? Do I see it every 3 days? I hope I can pay with bits, right? Rather than subscribes. We're here for the long haul. It exists in the void. Do we have to have a christening? Or do we just, throw it into the internet ether? Does it come with shield guard, or do we have to, like, grow into it? Let me stop, but... I'm not raising this Twitch baby aloud. Don't worry, I'll be right there with you. But remember, there are no children in the library Paradoxica, so you'll have to catch me when I'm off work. Good luck. Schrodinger's Twitch baby. Oh my goodness. But today, just in case you knew, we are going to be reading SCPs that you choose, and ones that are random. You are doing a great job of making me laugh. Is it Sunday? Yes, it is Sunday. Today is, in fact, Sunday. I have a baby-related SCP, come to think of it. Well, go ahead and link it to me. And if you would like to hear a particular SCP, go ahead and put it in the my Discord lobby channel if you'd like. Well, actually, no, we have a recommendations channel. So if you are not a ghoul, put it in the recommendations channel. And if you are a ghoul, you can just stick it in the ghoul chat. There isn't enough chatter in there as much as I like. If you aren't a part of our Discord, consider joining so you can do more fun stuff like this. Or you can just, tell me. Join us, join us, join us. You get sneak peeks on little things that I have doing, and yeah, you get to know before anyone else does what I'm up to. Ooh, ah. Anyway, let's go ahead and find our first SCP. Okay, I also saw that you said that it was non-traumatizing. I'm scared. What is that? What? Alright. Looks like I'm starting our first SCP. Let me make sure that no ad is appearing. Okay. No ads? No ads? Okay. SCP-089. Item number SCP-089. Object class Euclid. See below. Special containment procedures. SCP-089 is stored in a special shipping container at Site-36 and monitored for that's not location, but it's locution event. Mobile Task Force MU-89, consisting of personnel with advanced training in linguistics, psychology, and tactical diplomacy, has been established in order to respond to such locution events. Upon the occurrence of a locution event, SCP Task Force MU-89 is to translate and interpret the locution as to identify the primary subjects of that triggering, herein designated SCP-089A, and SCP-089-B. Then execute Protocol M8, which consists of the following steps. Transport SCP-089 to SCP-089-A's location and explain Protocol MB8 to SCP-89-B. 2. At such time, I should be using that. Can you not tell? Let me check. No? Try earing you?
You're already asking for attention? Didn't we just have a baby?
Yep, it's working. Wait a second. Was that bait? Was that bait? Was that bait? Did I just get baited? I'm so mad. Too many good spots. I'm so sorry I got baited so hard. Are you kidding me? I knew I should have trusted my God. I wasn't genuinely, but that was amazing. I guess I am definitely true trusting. Oh, man. Back to the story. At such time as SCP-089-B is prepared to voluntarily execute Protocol MB, render SCP-089-B any assistance as SCP-089-B may request in connection with SCP-089-B-B's performing the following actions. Inserting SCP-089-A into the cavity together with inflammable materials such as oiled wood or charcoal, and then igniting them. Successful execution of Protocol M8 requires the voluntary compliance of SCP-89-B in a sober and uncoerced state. Likewise, SCP-89-A must be conscious and alert during the execution of the protocol. It is recommended that SCP-89-B be restrained, although not sedated, following ignition, as to avoid interference with the completion of the protocol, as the process is extremely painful and fatal to SCP-89-A. If SCP-89-B refuses to voluntarily execute Protocol M8 in accordance with the aforementioned specifications, MTF Mu 89 is to explain the prospective consequences of failing to successfully complete the protocol, and make every effort to persuade SCP-89-B to cooperate. If MTF Mu 89's best efforts to do so if MTF Mu 89's best efforts to do so to persuade SCP-89-B are unsuccessful, SCP-89 is to be redesignated as a Keter class, and Protocol M9 is to be executed. Reference document 89-M9. The use of intimidation, threats or mind-altering drugs or intoxicants in an effort to affect SCP-89-B's will, or any attempt to complete Protocol M8 without SCP-89-B's participation or voluntary cooperation or otherwise than described are strictly prohibited, since these measures invalidate the attempted completion of the protocol and are known to intensify the severity of the attendant Type S event. It is also recommended, although not a required part of Protocol M8, to cause the execution of Step 2 of Protocol M8 to be accompanied by sounding of horns and percussion instrument, as doing so may mask the sounds made by SCP-89-A during the execution of the protocol. Upon a successful execution of Protocol M8, the related S-type event generally begins to abate within 7 hours. Description: SCP-89 is a glazed earthenware statue, approximately 3 meters in height, depicting a winged bullhead humanoid with an open mouth. The front of the statue's torso is hinged and can be opened from the top to reveal a cavity approximately 0.6 cubic meters in volume, and can be locked from the outside. The rear of the statue bears an inscription in a Canite language, possibly Punic. Excuse me. Let me hover over this. Footnote 1. Doctor transcribes an excerpt of the text as Nightmare of Moloch, Moloch the Loveless, Mental Moloch, Moloch the Heavy Judger of Men. The statue dates from approximately the 2nd century BCE. On infrequent occasions, sometimes separated by periods of excess of a century, the statue speaks. The mechanism by which these sounds are made is not understood, and the mouth of the statue does not move. The statue's locutions are in a Canite language, probably the same language as the inscription, and consist of the name or description of SCP-089-A, a demand for Protocol MB8 to be accomplished together with instructions for doing so, and a description of the attendant of a Type S event in a figurative language. Each locution event is followed within a period of 3 to 11 days by the commencement of a Type S event, meeting the description given in the locution event, unless Protocol M8 has already been completed. Each Type S event is an epidemic, a natural disaster, mass hysteria involving genocide or other massacres, or other events involving intensive damage to property and loss of human life over a period of time that continues until Protocol M8 is successfully completed. In the case of each documented locution event, The attendant type S event, while significant, is limited to a geographical area that does not directly affect SCP-89-B. This has, in some documented cases, resulted in the pendency of a type S event for an extended duration of time due to SCP-89B's unawareness of SCP-89 or Protocol M8, or to SCP-89-B's unwillingness to undertake Protocol MB8 in order to arrest the Type S event. Each location event, SCP... Oh no! For each location event, SCP-89-A is a healthy, unblemished human infant or child between 8 months and 6 years of age, and SCP-89-B is that child's natural mother. In all documented cases, at the time of the location event, SCP-89-A and SCP-89-B are each alive and healthy and experience a strong bond of trust and affection with each other. Following SCP-89-B's placement of SCP-89-A in the cavity and the ignition of the flammable materials, SCP-89-A will burn and be destroyed over a period of 2 to 5 hours. Oh, I see. Addendum number 1. Memo to file from Dr. Garcia. While the role of SCP-89 is in actually causing S-type events is unclear, the experience has demonstrated that the prompt and precise application of Protocol M8 is effective in limiting the damage that they do. Dr. Patel has speculated that SCP-89 does not cause Type S events, but merely anticipates them and provides a means to mitigate their effects. Addendum number 2. Partial lists of documented Type S events that were terminated by means of Protocol M8. Inclusive documented completions of Protocol M8 that predate the Foundation's acquisition of custody of SCP-89 follows. Date of location: March 21st, 1788. Description of Type S event in location event. The flames shall consume their homes, ye and their markets, and their temples, and all of their dwelling places, they shall be destroyed. Type S event. Fire in the city of... Outcome. Protocol M8 completed on day 29 of location event. 66 of the city's buildings destroyed. Date of location: December 1850. Description of Type S event in location event. The false prophet shall gather in the multitudes upon him, and cast them against the princes. They shall each of them be slain, and their fields be made barren. Type S event. Large Messian-based present uprising in... Outcome. Protocol M8 completed on day 1363 after location event. Massacres associated with the uprising and its suppression and attended agricultural collapse account for million casualties. Date of location: November 23rd, 1951. Description of Type S event in location event. The earth shall tremble, and the sea shall rise and be cast against the earth, and the mountain shall vomit fire, and its voice shall be darkness and death. Type S event. Earthquake and volcanic eruption in. Outcome. Protocol M8 executed within 38 hours of location event. No tsunami resulted, although geological models has anticipated that one would occur from a seismic event in that area. No fatalities. Date of location. November 7th, 1970. Description type of Type S event in location event. The rain shall scour the earth, and sweep away man and his beasts and all his work, and the deluge shall take them all. Type S event. Cyclone in. Outcome. Protocol M8 executed on day 49 after location event. Casualties from flooding, disease, and starvation estimated at 1,000. Date of location. April 4th, 2000. Description of. I can't actually read it because it's in the way. Date of location event. April 4th, 2000. Description of Type S event in location event. Data has been expunged. Type S event. Data has been expunged. Outcome. Ongoing. Protocol M8 has not been executed. Whoa. That one was crazy. Oh. Sheesh. Well, yeah, now we have, whatchamacallit. Now we have our little Twitch little one to worry about. It's, yeah, the last event is ongoing. As in, someone has to sacrifice. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna rub your ears in comfort. I can't believe you all. Lots of speculation over what that could be. Yeah, like, it's really interesting. Like, what event could that be? It seems rather biblical almost. Yeah. Yeah, like, just sacrifice your child or potentially millions or even all of humanity would die and they have to do it willingly. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is referencing Moloch. I just imagine the grief of, like, even when they're like 6, like, it could be up to 6 years old. You just have to give them up. Willingly, mind you. And it has to be the mother, right? It has to be the mother. Like, it cannot be the father, it has to be the mother. What if the mother is gone? Like, what if she's dead? Is there some contingency there? Like, would it never pick the one that doesn't have a mother? Mm. Uh, um. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I know several parents that would choose that outcome rather than have their child be picked. I'm assuming it just goes to the next child, right? Or does it stay? Which would be, honestly, even worse. Alright, $60 billion. Well, you could take the money, or you're gonna take my child away from me? $60 billion to prevent the natural disasters. $60 billion. That's what it's gonna cost. $60 billion. And you pay for the funeral. Right now. I want $60 billion in my hands. It's so... I genuinely feel like I couldn't. I feel like there wouldn't really be a choice after a certain point, right? It's kind of like the trolley problem, right? Yeah, so it's literally the button. Do you all know the story about the button? That thought problem? So, let's take it like this, right? If you press this button in front of you, if you decide to press the button in front of you, someone in the world will die. Someone, could be anyone in this world, will die. But you get $1 million every time you hit the button. So let's just say when you hit this button, let's change it up rather. When you hit this button, you're choosing to sacrifice your child. But when you do, a random city in a far-off place with millions of people, they get to live to see another day. And if you don't choose to hit this button, it's gonna keep picking cities. It'll keep picking towns. Townships, counties, states, until it gets here to where you are, until you hit that button. It's like, it's a horrible choice to make. I don't know if I could make that choice either. I feel like I would have so much compassion for my little one, if I ever had one. But if I ever had one. Grandma Mark. Grandma. But I feel like it would be really hard to do. Maybe I would, I don't know. It would depend, really, for me. I don't know how I would feel about it. Welcome back from the ads, everyone. It is so lovely to see you all, and I'm so happy that you've come back to join us. So we were reading SCP-89, and yeah. Would you sacrifice your child to prevent a far-off disaster? I don't think I would. SCP-23-1 is a similar dilemma. Does the world deserve to go on if the excruciating suffering of an innocent person, ignoring the fear itself tale, is what it costs? That is the choice a Foundation has to make every day. Yeah. And it's such a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to read about. I can get lost in these tales all day. We die in the dark so that you can live in light. Let's continue. Random. What? Oh. This looks like some sort of group document. Group name. One Ryoi. One Ryoi Collective. One Ryoi Gardens. Group classification. Non-human. Business. Unification. Extra-dimensional operation. Known objects. SCP-1498. SCP-2805. SCP-2028, SCP-2272, and SCP-2245, and SCP. Group description. Appear to intervene in unconscious thoughts and dreams, and appear onaroi. Onaroi. Okay. Excuse me. Group description. Ability to intervene in unconscious thoughts and dream, and appear to have access to personality of deceased persons. No infrastructure or organization present in our universe, and it is possible that they primarily choose to operate in other worlds, and that we exist on their periphery. Although this has been challenged by their apparent knowledge of electronic systems, cultural, and significant persons in our universe, known to the Foundation since September 18th, 1905. Known members. No human members have been identified at this time, if any exist. In addition, investigations have revealed that although business-oriented groups such as the Marshalls, Carter, and Dark, and the Factory are at least aware of this entity, there is no evidence of collaboration, and in the case of the Factory, appear to be actively working towards the group's destruction. Veil Threat Medium. Honoroi does not appear to want to break the veil of secrecy for anomalous objects, but it also does not appear to have any interest in preserving it. Therefore, they are considered to be a passive threat to normalcy. Capabilities. Interacting with humans in dreams, impersonating or recreating the personalities of well-known persons, creating objects and interacting with human culture and society at will. Engagement instructions. Due to the non-corporeal and passive nature of the Onryoi, personnel are not to engage, but to collect as much documentation as possible in order to contribute to ongoing counter-anomaly research. Physical records. Manifesto of a Dreamer. If you can dream it, you can do it. That is what the creed is, but you soil it with your earplugs because you don't hear the goats and the billies singing to the farmers sleep because you do not care about anything and we are tired of it. Honoroi, give us our waking lives back. Dreams are. This was found with SCP 1498 in a desk drawer. I am still working. They're not. They're real, almost done. When they say I'm done, they might be giants. Let me grow awake. The nightmare dream. Bleed into day. The sheep. The bah. Oh my god, why do they bah? Found taped to the bottom of an SCP 2028 instance. Dear Inspector, in response to your question, I do not know, because I grew up beside the Garden of Dreams. It is a beautiful place. Every possibility of fancy is here. Even the blackest bits of fantasy are redeemed with the innocence with which some follow their dreams. The Honoroi Gardens, as I call it. Or that's what my master called it. I didn't call it anything because it was before I was with the written word. That was when I was free. I had a dream of freedom. We were very good friends, and even though the collective said I wasn't supposed to mingle with the anchors, as we were called, there was a beauty in knowing how it might feel to be awake, even if you never believed it could be true. That is the only freedom of this place. They cannot make a prisoner dream of being imprisoned. There were no dream police keeping me in check, and one day it all disappeared in an unceremonious way. I was enslaved. This is a warning, sir. Now you think you are a hold, a cap, and the only way for dreams to reach the masses, and the world is suffering for it. How many dreams have you stopped, Inspector? None. Do you think that bootleg dream catchers will keep the sheep people awake forever? If what you say is true, then the dream harvesters could be dangerous. Do you think your organization can defeat hopeless, bleak despair? This letter was delivered by an unknown party to... Excuse me. No. Stop that. This letter was delivered by an unknown party to Dr. Jeremy Grant's private residence. As it appears to reference his work on SCP, it has been filled with the research of that object. Notably, Dr. Grant had reported difficulty sleeping and had a notable decrease in dream recollection. However, since this letter was received, this problem has ceased. Dr. Rem now reports a regular REM cycle. Sorry, Dr. Grant now reports a regular REM cycle. Okay. Interesting. Okay, what was linked to me? Hello. Oh. Oh, what the heck? SCP 1998. Entering a deep sleep. Please wait. You have successfully connected to FC Local Area Noosphere. You are in a dream. Foundation Collective. Persistent consciousness. Sustained. Message of the day. Wake up and smell the Atto-sign. FC Darkwell Archive. Item number SCP-1498. Class Uncontained. Level 3. 1498. Silent. Disruption Class. Dream Amida. OTF Beta-1 White Lotus is to subconsciously influence key members of various meat-space telecommunications agencies towards phasing out landline and payphone services. Onryoy West. Arioy West will provide covert aid in repairing damage caused by SCP-1498. Is that Alpha? Yeah. Corporeal containment of the anomaly is to remain under the jurisdiction of SCP-F Site-77. On the event of Onryo Hazard Expunged occurs within a Foundation collective facility, attendant personnel must detonate its ergo nuclear failsafe immediately. Travel to and from SCP-1498. Is that Beta? I think that's Theta. What is that? Hold on, give me a second, guys. Omega! Sorry, it's Omega. Omega is currently prohibited by order of the O5 Convocation. Description: SCP-F. Invalid credentials. Wake up to view. Okay, well, I guess we're not waking up, huh? SCP-1498 is a shared design of 31 ambulatory sets of corporeal phones and cords that have been assembled to look like sheep. Text has been printed on the underside of each of the instance's head. Dial a Dream. Brought to you by the Bell Telephone Collective. Your perfect dream is only a phone away. SCP-1498 appears to be a host of collective consciousness, SCP-1498 Omega, which will continually propagate a set of recurring elements, SCP-1498 Alpha, across the dreams of all corporeal landline users. All attempts to either contain SCP-1498 Omega or exercise SCP 98 Alpha have thus far failed. SCP-1498 is primarily known as the Bell Telephone Collective. Within the Onric space, it is located in the western region of the Greater Ort supercluster, 20 milliscreams north of Vupang, and 6 leagues Windershins of Flavortown. Flavortown! Anyway, from the outside of 1498 Omega, possesses the appearance of chartreuse tesseract large enough to hold 2 to 3 Wisconsins. Its interior appears to be largely unknown, as individuals that enter 1498 Omega are rarely given opportunity to depart. 1498 Alpha primarily manifests as a corded telephone in an incongruous location under the sink, inside an active volcano, orbiting Jupiter, etc., that rings until it is physically interacted with. In an event that a dreamer picks up a 1498 Alpha handset, they will be connected to an operator from a dream augmentation service. After discussing the various changes the subject would like to see done, the phone will then play a series of tones that, forcing the surrounding dream to restart with the requested alterations in place. As scholars cannot remember the original iteration of their dream after experiencing SCP-1498 Alpha has deemed a negligible risk to the waking veil. However, SCP-1498 Alpha's extensive use of sound-based neural exploits, also known as mind freaking, has caused significant structural and emotional damage to portions of Onari's West infrastructure. Other consistent observed SCP-1498 Alpha's elements include, but are not limited to, ringing, rapid key movement, dead air, sensation of tangling, vertigo, long distance fees, and I want to see you. 1 second. Big stretch. SCP-1498 1. Correlated Phenomena. August 4th, 1922. Sphere. Onric. Alexander Graham Bell's family experiences the same dream following his burial at Benenbrough, or Bell Estate. Each reports peering into a window of the Bell Estate hall and seeing Bell converse with an unidentified figure. Upon entering the hall, both are gone, and in their place a large oak tree festooned with coiled cords has grown up from the floor. They are woken by the sound of the phone ringing. August 15th, 1923. Sphere. Unroic. First known instance of an aeroic sphere disruption caused by SCP-1498 Alpha derived mind freaking. Multiple telephone poles rapidly sprout from the floor of the Bida Outta Crime, an Onric West gastrotech and recreational felony parlor. An officer of the OMPD attempts to arrest the telephone poles under charges of general trespassery, but is reminded that all illegal acts are permitted on the premises. What? Date, February 1968. Corporeal. Description, Joy Bubbles, or the father of freaking phone hacking, legally changed his name to Joy Bubbles in 1991. Joy Bubbles received 15 calls of unknown origin over the course of a month, beginning shortly after his temporary suspension from the University of South Florida for selling hacked phone calls. Each call is composed of random voice fragments. The first is transcribed below. Am I coming through? The ozone taste in the doctor parade. Listen. Listen. Scoop the bassoon. Close the signal. Overstand? Come here. Date, April 7th, 1995. Sphere, corporeal. All wired communication devices in the city Mobile, Alabama experience a localized Babel-class incomprehensible event for 3 hours. Portable phones are unaffected. Addendum 1498-2. Interview log. Forward. The following is an interview between Agent Frond and an unidentified member of SCP-1498 Omega, designated Honorary of Interest, 1946-03. Ocular footage was recorded and transmitted by the surveillance parasite implanted in Dr. Frond's shadow. Agent Frond stands in a well-lit phone booth. It is night. She picks up the handset, slips in the 2 Onrian Laguz into the currency slot, and enters into the keypad. The phone rings twice before picking up to dead air. Hello? Is this the Bell Telephone Collective? I was told this number was... Hello! This is the Bell Chime Collective. To you I am speaking. I'm Agent Frond. I'm a member of the Dream Regulation Organization. Do you have a moment to answer some questions about your communal consciousness? You can call me about anything. Thank you for your cooperation. Firstly, I'd like to ask why your collective has continued to... Data has been expunged. I see. And do you have any intention of stopping? No. No. We will not cease operations. Our operations are toll-free, 24 hours, in service. Can you tell me why you operate like you do? Sound is strange. Voice is strange. Strange in what way? Speech is meaning inside of language, inside of waves. Pieces are bound to get lost in transit. Miscommunication. Inevitable. I don't understand. Can you elaborate? Have you heard machines dream of electric sheep? But that's not correctamundo. No. No! It's the electric sound that dreams of what? Unheroic hazard has been expunged. Surveillance parasite ceases transmission. End recall. Postscript. After her interview with Agent Fran's corporeal body could not be roused from REM sleep, transforming into an SCP-1498 instance over the course of the following 72 hours. All attempts to communicate with Agent Fran has failed, and her shadow has been declared lost. What? I didn't even know this was a thing. Whew. Those numbers, my dyslexia was beating me up. I was getting hit with the left rate, just You should show the sheep picture if you can. Sure, if I can. You guys want to see the sheep picture? The alpha? Or is it the beta? I think that symbol was actually beta. Yeah, someone worked really hard on this. Oh, this is the Omega. Excuse me. I'm very burpy today. Please excuse. Oh. Okay. Due to popular demand, we now have a friend with us on stream. Bah. We now have a special friend with us on stream today. I guess they can hang out with us for a little bit. Oh, what a fun tale. Are you still asleep? Shall I whisper to you? Oh. Shall I do some whispering? I think that would be fun. Oh, gotta scoot forward a bit. Oh my goodness. My mic is in the... My keyboard is in the way. Keyboard, you are definitely messing up my mojo today. Let me lift you guys up. And put you out of the way for a little bit. Oh my goodness. No. Be good. It is always so difficult to manage you guys. Do you know how top heavy you are? Okay, cut it out. There we go. I figured we'd take a small break from SCPs while the ads are running, as a little, incentive for you guys to keep listening. You all are silly little billies, lost in a void of electric sheep. And when you lay your heads to sleep, maybe, just maybe, those same sheep might dream of you. Your ears are a little messy today. I should take care of them a little. Forgive me a little bit. I have to at least make sure your ears are always clean. It really does bother me when they're dirty. What is this? Your SCP researcher cleans your ears. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Terrible. Take better care of your ears. POV. You're having an ear-based SCP. The researcher is being Oh, really? Is that what you want? Fine. So you're D-class, huh? D-class, right? What does the D stand for? Does it stand for decommissioned? Delicious. Decadent. Or I'm aware of what it stands for. I just like teasing you. Beginning test 2. You know, you wouldn't be in this situation if if your ears weren't so filthy. But
Human vinyl gloves. I don't know where my gloves are. I have to find them. Why are you staring at me like that? It's only ear cleaning. You're not supposed to be getting anything out of it. Yeah, well, it's not my fault. You don't know how to get in the crevices of your human ears. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that hurt you? Good. Make sure to clean properly next time.
Welcome back, my community. Nothing happened during the outbreak. Absolutely nothing happened. We're gonna go back to reading SCPs now. And no one can say anything to me. Random. Random. Notice, this is a fragment page. It is an eternal page used by the SCP Wiki. It is not meant to be read directly, but included by another. This page should be parroted, seen above. We will read this first. Statement from Agent Bradley Harris, Tau 49 operative. I was walking through the forest, like the one back home in California. I could feel the pine needles crunching under my boots, smell the dust. It was dark, and I could just make out the trees around me. I didn't have my gear on me. I didn't. My gun was gone. I started walking and I heard something else moving. I looked around, but I couldn't see anything in the dark. Started walking again and I heard it. Suddenly I felt a hand grab my head, like palming a basketball. It gave me a little push and let go. I spun around and there was nothing there. Something behind me laughed. And I ran. Next thing I know, I'm stumbling back out of the door. One of the guards started to say something, but they stopped. They just were kind of staring at me. I didn't even know I was holding anything. I dropped it, and I'll never forget the wet sound it made when it hit the ground. I guess I freaked out after that. I don't remember too much of the car ride back. I might say I might have to get amnestized before they let me have a gun again. I think it's worth it. The object in Agent Harris' hand was identified as the top 3 inches of Agent Joshua Presswood's head. No other remains of Agent Presswood has been retrieved to date. Yeah, what happened? Oh, wow. SCP-9393. SCP-9393, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The property surrounding SCP-9393 has been purchased by Shivan Cultivation and Produce. The field SCP-9393 occupies has been cleared and a silo has been erected around it. The entrance to the silo will be guarded at all times to prevent inadvertent entry. A secondary containment cell has been constructed around SCP-9393 and will only be unlocked in order of the Director of Site-19. The temperature and climate within the cell is controlled, and pesticides will be used as required to protect against damage to the frame of SCP-9393. No personnel will move within 2 meters of the anomaly unless required for testing. SCP-9393 is a doorway in a cornfield in Hooker County, Nebraska. The frame is made from black cherry wood. From the north, the doorway appears to be filled with dark gray mist. From the south, the doorway appears to be completely black. Persons who enter 9393 will vanish when they enter the anomaly. This disappearance lasts for 2 minutes. There is no known upper limit. If and when a subject returns, they will emerge from the opposite side of the door from which they entered. At the current date, there is no observable difference in the effect of subjects entering from the south or the north. There's like a hyperlink here. Subjects that have returned from 9393 report having a variety of distressing scenarios, often involving isolation, threats, disorientation, and surreal elements. The subjective length of time a subject spends in this scenario does not seem to correlate with the time outside observers experience. It is unknown if the anomaly transporting subjects to real locations, or is merely creating facsimiles. Harm suffered by subjects is retained on emergence from the anomaly. Not all subjects that return do so alive. Corpses, partial remains, personal effects, and even intangible traces have exited the doorway. No 2 subjects have reported encountering each other in these scenarios, even when entering SCP-9393 together. SCP-9393 show an apparent natural cavern. The walls are consistent with the bedrock of the western Nebraska. However, seismic surveys have shown no such cavern in the area. No trace of human intrusion has been detected. History. SCP-9393 was brought into Foundation attention when a report on Nibiris triggered an automated search for certain keywords. A man named Cameron Perry had been found bloody and disoriented next to Nebraska Freeway Highway 97 by state police. Based on his testimony, the Foundation was able to quickly locate and contain the anomaly, and Dr. Caroline Wren was assigned to lead the resulting investigation. Due to a superficial resemblance to 1983, it was decided to send a team to investigate. MTF Tau 49, Lucky Sevens, was activated, and the 10th iteration to use that name. Out of the 25 operatives, 7 exited 9393 alive. Identifiable remains were recovered for a further 13 over the following 7 years. The remaining 5 have yet to be located. Requests for further MTF support were denied. At this time, the land was purchased and an outpost was built around the anomaly, ensuring the access was restricted, and Dr. Caroline Wren was put in charge of testing the anomaly, while Dietrich York was instructed to institute long-term containment procedures. Records of the Mobile Task Force were procured but no causal link could immediately be found between either the survivors, known descendants, or missing personnel. Interviews with the survivors suggest that each had experienced an entirely different location and scenario than the others. None had encountered any of the others during the events they experienced, though some saw or heard other entities that appeared human. Once the outpost was complete, the Ethics Committee approved using D-Class personnel. When Dr. Wren began devising tests to determine particular aspects of the anomaly, early hypotheses were ultimately ruled out through exhaustive testing. At this time, Dr. Moose began considering relocation personnel to better support other research projects. However, after 6 months, no solid conclusions has been reached, and after consultation with the ethics community and Dr. Moose, the Old Council decided to suspend further human testing and reassigned excess personnel to other projects. A skeleton crew was assigned to the outpost, and testing was terminated. Wow. So there's a lot of hyperlinks in here, so we're going to start from the top. Okay, so this was... Okay, so... Oh, these are like... Okay, these aren't actually hyperlinks. Oh, there's an email here. Hold on. 2. Everett Mann from Tilda Moose. Everett. I have a young researcher I'd like to pair with you. She's had a bit of a rocky start and some issues with authority, but she's been extremely diligent, and we've been very impressed by her reports. You may have heard of her. Caroline Wren. She is incredibly focused and driven, and she frankly reminds me of you a lot. I think you'll be a good mentor for her. I think she's learned all about what we're going to get out of SCP-9393, so I'd like to bring her on to some of your projects. Some of the research you've been doing onto the anomaly of type greens would be of particular interest to her, I feel. Let me know. If you're not interested, I'm sure I can find someone who wants her. She's brilliant. She just needs some perspective. Dr. Wren. Tilda. Absolutely. I'm up to my knees in blood and viscera these days, and as you bloody well know, another pair of hands would be absolutely lovely. Send me your file, and as soon as she's finished in that cornfield, we can start on the paperwork. Okay. Doesn't seem too bad, does it? Are you enjoying yourselves, my lovely chat? Today is a slow day, but that's okay. We persevere. And we keep on moving, you know? Let's read a couple more, shall we? And random. I want a tail, so can I have another one? Oh. No. Okay, well, here we go. SCP-004, or SCP number 4. Object Class Euclid. When handling items SCP-004-2 through SCP-004-3, proper procedure is vital. The items are not permitted to be moved off-site unless accompanied by 2 Level 4 security personnel. Under no circumstances should any other component of SCP-004 should be taken through SCP-004-1. The effects of doing so are as of yet unknown, and the current cost of experimentation makes further research impractical. Should any of the objects contained in SCP-001-004-1 breach containment, or the facility be breached, the keys must be brought inside, and the door must be closed prior to activation of Site-62's on-site warhead. Unauthorized removal of keys from the testing area is grounds for immediate termination. Level 1 clearance is required for basic access of SCP-004-1. Level 4 clearance is required for use of SCP-004-2 through 13. SCP-004 consists of an old wooden barn door, SCP-004-1, and a set of 12 rusted steel keys, SCP-00-2 through SCP-00-13. The door itself is the entrance to an abandoned factory in Data Expunged. Chronological history. July 2nd, 1949. A group of 3 juveniles trespassing on the federal property near find the door. According to their testimony, they found a set of rusty keys in an old iron box, determined what door the keys unlock. The juveniles were taken into custody after they contact Sheriff when one of their friends, SCP-004-CAS-01, goes missing. July 3rd, 1949. Local authorities find the severed right hand of SCP-004-CAS-1, 8 kilometers away from SCP-4-1. Other parts of SCP-CAS-01's body are found scattered as far as 32 kilometers from the factory. Under interrogation, the apprehensive juveniles tell authorities that upon opening the door with one of the keys, SCP-004-1 was torn into several pieces, which disappeared. At this point, the SCP Foundation takes over the investigation. July 4th, 1946. SCP agent obtains the keys from the local authorities and begins testing. Testing show that SCP-004-2 through 13 all fit into a single lock on the large barn door. 12 D-Class personnel assigned to the test the effects on the door. Of the 12 test subjects trying each a different key to enter the room, only 2 survive. Opening the door with any key except SCP-007 or SCP-0012 caused the test subjects to be torn apart in multiple directions. However, no dismembered parts were found until later. At the time of writing, only 2 parts of each test subject have been recovered, with the exception of the subject using SCP, whose pieces were scattered in close proximity. The others, for all intensive purposes, have vanished from existence. Of the 2 surviving test subjects, only one, having used SCP-00-7, returned unharmed. The others came back in a near catatonic state, only being able to remove himself from the room, then collapse on the floor, and had to be restrained to prevent him from gouging his own eyes out. See Appendix A, Mental Hospital Effects of SCP-004. The subject using SCP-004-7 said that he had entered a large room, impossibly big for the size of the attached building. After the exit, SCP-00-1 was propped open and an armed squad of Level 3 personnel entered. The size of the room is impossible to measure, and the door frame and individuals in the room are the only part of the room that could be felt or illuminated. July 16th, 1949. The juvenile suspects and sheriff are terminated. August 2nd, 1949. Is declared a hazardous area due to an unexploded ordnance, and fences are erected to prevent civilian ingress. Tests to be determined the safety of exposure to the environment behind SCP-004-1 begins. So that's December 1st, 1950. Space-time anomalies resulting from exposure from SCP-004 are confirmed. Testing is suspended until further notice. July 2nd, The unaccounted remains for 004 CAS-01 appear unexpectedly outside SCP-004-1. Despite being killed decades before, the remains of SCP-004 CAS-01 are not decomposed in any manner and are still warm to the touch. Blood remains uncoagulated. The remains are remanded for testing. July 4th. I keep saying SCP. July 4th, The unaccounted for remains of one of the 12 original test subjects appear in a similar manner to those of SCP-004 CAS-01. The remains have been designated SCP-004 CAS-02. Records suggest that both CAS-01 and CAS-02 used SCP-004- Sorry about that, you guys. March 21st, 1999. With the massive proliferation of nuclear weapons and World War III only away, construction has begun on a site inside of SCP-004-1. The site is to stock up on supplies for personnel days. April 21st, 1999. Has ordered the site on SCP-004-1 to be expanded to include emergency storage for all... Did someone call me? 1 second, you guys. That was weird, you guys. It definitely took me out of what I was reading. Oh no. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Huh. I'm gonna keep reading. Actually, give me just a second, okay? I will be right back. I promise. Hello, I'm back. um, I had to do a quick check of the house, see if everybody was okay. Oh my goodness, I hit you guys with my mic. I hit you guys with my USB. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah. So. Just had to do a quick, test. To see if everybody was alright. And then I went to go use the restroom. So, I am A-okay. I promise. Everything is A-okay. For the most part. Let's continue. August 21st, 1999, has ordered the site inside SCP-004-1 to be expanded to include emergency storage for the mobile specimens and a petabyte database for the storage of all SCP data. This site is now referred to as Site 62. September 25th, 2000. Site 62 is operational. Labs and containment units are complete and can contain the most dangerous specimens. Backup of SCP data has begun. January 25th, 2001. Due to time anomalies, see space-time anomalies below, all personnel working at Site 62 are now required to reside on-site permanently. Families of personnel are to be informed that loved ones have perished in an industrial accident. Clone bodies have been prepared for funeral. August 14th, 2023. Massive power outage across the northern United States through Canada. Due to the initial failure of multiple SCP generators, Site 62 was without power for 53 minutes. During those 53 minutes, those on site were completely without any source of light. They reported sensing creatures and people, although no abnormal entities could be seen or felt. Select security personnel were allowed to read A, and said that the creatures sensed were of humanoid size, but are otherwise similar to the massive green creature described. Space-time anomalies. SCP-004 seems to propagate spatial-temporal anomalies. Personnel leaving the facility report losing time. Those who have been on the site for weeks insist they've only been in the facility for several days, and work was completed and supplies consumed will support their claims. Other temporal anomalies involve SCP-001-2 through 13, especially the reappearance of SCP-004 CAS-01 and CAS-02 exactly years after using SCP-004- has been assigned to investigate all aspects of these time anomalies. Spatial anomalies include the impossibly large dimensions of the area opened by SCP-004-7. Similarly, the the 2013 blackout incident suggests that there exists an alternate plane of existence within the same space that Site 62 occupies. Additional notes. Upon testing, SCP-004 reveals that 10 of the keys that opens SCP-004-1 on a dimension where the laws of physics and topology are significantly different than those in our home dimension. Test subjects meeting these hostile conditions are torn apart. Their bodies are disposed of in various locations, only 3 which have been verified on Earth. Material deposited at 2 of these points immediately. Material deposited at the 3rd actually blank years into the future. The other 7 locations are currently unknown. Current testing focuses on 2 avenues of research. The first is finding a way to survive SCP-004's hostile topologies. The second, data has been expunged, suggests that SCP-004-2 through 13 may open doors other than SCP-004-1. Appendix A. Mental health effects of SCP-004-12. Are you all... Oh, wow. We're on an ad break? Oh, no. I read through an ad break. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, you guys. It's okay. Today is definitely a slower one, but I'm happy to have you regardless. It's quiet. The moon is quiet. The stars are quiet. All is quiet. And I think that's beautiful. Are you remissed for a little story? It won't take too long, I promise. Oh, hydrate, of course. Of course I will hydrate. Thank you very much. Also, where's my glass? There we go. Refund yourself those points. Also, welcome back, everyone, if you didn't leave. But, thank you for the, hydrate. But, it's time for a little story. Now, I've heard a tale of a book that can send you to a different dimension. I know, not the craziest thing you could ever heard, right? It's like a little, like, it's not even registering on the amount of weird things you've heard about the Library Paradoxica. But I'll tell you one better. This book was very special. You see, it was a book that took you to the dimension of the Forefather. Now, you don't know who the Forefather is. Who is that? Grim, who is that? Well, the Forefather is the person who built this library. And supposedly, the Forefather was human. Now, you're probably going, well, Grim, he can't be human. He just can't be. What if I told you something even crazier? He's still alive. Still alive. Even now. Now, how is he still alive, Grim? You are a magical being. You can live forever. But he is just a human. How did he build this massive place? It's like 6 football stadiums in here. How did he build it? Well, I can't necessarily tell you how he built it, but I can tell you how he's still alive. In the eastern corridor, there is a pathway that you take, and it starts by diving deep into the pool. And once you reach the bottom, there's a grate that you have to go through. You have to empty the grate, you have to empty the pool, rather. Or you can have it be filled, I don't know, whichever is your pleasure. Go down the ladder at the bottom of the pool and walk for 7 miles in the darkness. Eventually, you'll have to crawl an additional mile till you come to a cave. And in that cave, deep, deep in that cave, there is a door. It doesn't have any particular way to open it, but if you're in front of it, it knows you are supposed to be there. So when you open it, when you put your hand on it, it'll open. And inside that room is a book. When you touch it, the spine thrums in your hand. It feels wrong to touch as you grasp it. As you touch the pages on your fingers, it feels wet, sweaty. In my particular hands, it was delicate, soft, light. You look at the cover of the book, and you see a wandering eyeball staring at you. Skin stretched over cover. He is still alive. And you can talk to him. All you have to do is just open up and go to the page with the current year and date. The book is long, after all. It's undying, unmoving, forever stuck in its beautiful creation in the deepest room in the library. Even deeper than Master's dais, mind you. Somehow, in this room is the grand architect of the library, Paradoxica, and where he will sit forever. For this is one of the books you can't remove from the library. In fact, you can't remove it from the room. It has to remain in that room. You can read as much as you want of it, have as many conversations with the person inside. Sometimes he likes to play this little trick where he takes some paper and attempts to fashion himself a body so that he can run away. Sometimes he may even try and steal yours. But then again, you know, the silly architect doesn't know that he can't leave. The doors, they have no handles. They have no lock, no key. The door was open when you found it. The door will be closed when he finds it. It's simple as that. So yes, the architect of the library, Paradoxica, is still alive. Forever. In perpetuity. And that's just the way it is. Does he like it there? Probably not. I think he wanted to die, I don't know, maybe a century ago or two. Sometimes he comes up with new rooms and they just show up each and every day, excuse me. Sometimes he takes away scrubbing away at his blueprint. And with our master's grace, he creates it. Sometimes I void the changes. Last time, he wanted to get rid of the lobby, and I, of course, told him no. That was not a good change. I tore that page out. He was not very happy with me. But what can he do? He's just a book. Ah. Do you enjoy the little stories I tell you? Let's return back to our SCP, shall we? Gotta get that library lore. Exactly. I don't even think you knew that one, do we? Not many of the crows know the story of the actual, like, what happened before I took over as, head custodian and, head librarian of the Library Paradoxica. Not many people understand and know that, but I digress. All D-Class personnel using SCP-004-12 return in a catatonic state, unable to speak. Some people may have enough energy to try and claw out their eyes. Out of 16 subjects, only 4 has survived. Only 1 has regained speech. Following long-term psychotherapy, he was able to tell the psychiatrist that he saw a massive green creature, so large that most of its body extended beyond his field of view. He reported a fear of innate fear and sudden recognition. It's as if something were buried inside his primal fears and force implantation of incomprehensible memories. Subject displays acute retrograde amnesia. Appendix B. Additional information. Item number SCP-0414. Date of discovery September 2nd, 1950. Origin of object. Object was discovered elsewhere in factory area in the previous undiscovered manager's office. Description. Object appears to be a large, unvarnished wooden box. The box may be unlocked by using the safe key. SCP-004-7, as well as 5 of the unsafe keys. See document 004-1. Upon unlocking 004-14 with SCP-004-7, the box opens automatically on its hinges. The volume of space inside is precisely 5 times greater than the outer dimensions imply. Items placed while in the lid remain, do not open and affect the weight or any other properties within the box. When the lid is closed and locked, however, all items inside vanish irretrievably. Personnel locked inside the box are also irretrievable, although losing personnel in this faction appears to slightly affect the dreams experienced by data expunged. Oh. So it's a mind portal? Is it a mind portal? Welcome in, real girls. Is it... It's very confusing, huh? Oop, sorry you all. I am very confused. It's okay. I guess we'll have to look it up later. It's so lovely to have you today. Let's read one more article, shall we? It's been so long since we've seen each other. I think that's fair. Or if you have an article, or tale to request, we totally can read it. Cavalcade. The light of spring flowered from the sun and touched upon the town, when from the mountain top on high the troop came marching down. They rode on horses draped in red, as well as green and white, and on each covered silent head golden bells danced in the light. And when the town folk came to see the strangers in their home, the travelers did remove their masks and summon forth a tone. So they did speak, so they did tell of things beyond compare, of stranger lands than heaven or hell, and creatures living there. They spoke, and when one chose to state that he was through, then from her seat another rose, and spoke words loud and true. When each was done, they donned their masks and climbed upon their beast, and bared their horses double fast, proceeding to the east. And so the troop did leave the town, a new tradition made, and all things such they wear down, such is the cavalcade. Cavalcade.bat. Loading. Loaded. Project Cavalcade Contingency Commission. Starting point 47 6,096 degrees north, 122 degrees 3,331 degrees west. Contingency 00315 XK001. Starting. Error 048500. Insecure link. Realgen.bat-a. Realgen rootkit 131. Overdue environment loaded. Loading. Entering target range. Scanning points. Scanned. Enter redirect. Redirecting. System loop redirect found. Ignore. Yes. Redirecting. Redirected. Quit. Exiting overdue environment. Loading. Project Cavalcade. Contingency plan. Commission. Starting. Started. Reversion potential 0.03740. Resolution potential .000276. Does the black moon howl? Hard lock disengage. Log off. Does the 773 howl? Black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, gray, moon, does howl, howl, 737373. Senda Pruitt sighed, knowing she had ended thousands of lives with a few key presses. At least it would get the point across. Senda calmly walked to the safe in the corner of her office, rotating the mechanism until the lock opened with a satisfying thud. She opened the safe door, revealing a rusted toolbox. She picked it up, then closed the safe door. Senda walked out of her office. It was odd, she thought. A weight had been lifted from her chest, and yet her stomach felt like it was sinking. She inhaled sharply as she approached the exit of Site 76. Site Director Pruitt waved past security without complaint. Senda walked out the front door towards the drab blue car on the opposite side of the road. Her pair of contacts sat in it. Gamut Rukfal was reading her newspaper, resting it against the steering wheel. Krav Liedenfield sat in the passenger side, chewing strawberry gum and rubbing his stubble. Senda opened one of the passenger doors, eased herself down on the leather seat, and rested the toolbox on her lap. Gamut folded her newspaper, placed it on the dashboard, and started accelerating down the road. Cav turned it around, leaned across, grinning and offering Sendika a stick of gum. She took it, unwrapped it, placed it in her mouth. Cav grinned wildly even more. "Welcome to the Chaos Insurgency, Miss Pruitt." The administration contemplated the readout on his screen. A 2-hour window of non-zero revision. Potentially plenty of time to address the situation. There have been worse breaches in the past, by far, and for worse reasons. The phone next to the administrator rang. He picked it up. 054 was the one who would have to deal with the situation. Time was of the essence. There was no time for a council vote, so 054 made a direct petition. The administration listened to the request, agreeing to all of them one by one. This wasn't the worst the administration had seen, but it was the worst that 054 had ever needed to deal with. Sendika Pruitt had been capable of doing much worse than this, and for that the administrator was pleased and disappointed in equal measure. A man was looking out of a window. The birds were flying, the sun was shining, and everything was right with the world. Everything was okay. Everything was all right. There was nothing to be worried about. He heard a car screech off of a road, then the crunch of metal against brick below his office. He heard people shouting, screaming, crying, and then the shouting stopped. Everything was perfectly fine. A middle-aged man was talking to him on a laptop screen. Said laptop screen was sitting in the lap of the man who was not on the laptop screen. The man on the laptop screen started talking again. "You seem to be forgetting things every time we stop talking." The man that was not on the laptop stared blankly. He started to talk, then coughed. He welled up some spit in his throat and tried again. "What?" "Something is heavily affecting your concentration." Who are you? Who indeed? Perhaps a more pertinent question. Who are you? The man who was not on the laptop screen paused for a moment to think. Who was he? It didn't seem too important. It wasn't that he didn't remember. He knew who he was. On realizing this, safe in the conclusion that he was aware of who he was on some deeper level, he refuses to drag it up to his active consciousness. The man who was not on the laptop screen was struck by a profound Zen-like apathy. Easier far to mirror the man on the laptop screen's words than to think of his own thoughts. Who indeed? Well, for convenience sake, let's call you Kevin. Why Kevin? Because that's your name. Ah. As for me, you can call me 315. Ringing any bells? Kevin stopped paying attention. Kevin? Kevin's gaze started to drift from the man on the laptop screen. 315 clicked his fingers, loud enough for the laptop speakers to clip. Back to me, Kevin. Focus on me, all right? If you look away, you'll forget again. Kevin looked back towards the screen. Easier to go along with it. He spoke with 315. Okay. First of all, we need to start moving. Pick up this laptop. Be careful not to drop it. We're going to start walking out the door, okay? Kevin, at this moment, felt the easier course of action was compliance. He grabbed the laptop in his hands. Then he stood up. He started looking towards the window. 315 snapped his fingers again. No! Come on! Kevin! Come on! Focus! Look to your right. The door is on your right. Kevin looked to the door on his right, then paused for 2 seconds. You need to walk towards the door, Kevin. Kevin started walking towards the door. Professor Thaddeus Yank was annoyed. Not the fact that a space the size of Seattle, indeed, that was Seattle, was temporarily corrupted. He was annoyed that nobody told him that it was going to happen. The research potential into temporal corruption seemed enormous. This was mostly because Yank did not understand what temporal corruption actually meant. From 05-4 to Thad Yank. Date empty. Subject temporal corruption. Content: Seattle has temporarily been locked as per as TS-7 containment protocols. However, the Type B ZACs stationed around the breach have malfunctioned, resulting in temporal corruption. Considering your paper regarding hypothetical use of a Type B X-Ax array to induce temporal corruption, you are the person suited to address the situation. This should also present a valuable opportunity to test the accuracy of your theories. You'll be transported to Seattle within the next 20 minutes. Yax hadn't written that paper that 05-4 was referring to. No, scratch that. He hadn't even designed a Type B X-Ax yet. On the short trip to Seattle, Yank thumbed through both the aforementioned paper as well as the specifications document for the Type B. Halfway through the latter, Professor Yank saw the mnemonic trigger as he was going to place it within the paper. He felt his arms seize and slumped, damned whatever reason he was going to have for putting it in there, and fell unconscious in the back of an unmarked van. Senda Pruitt watched her watch tick down. 90 minutes remained until Seattle was unrecoverable. Gamut had took them out of the city center, through the residential area, and out of the semi-residential zones. They had reached a strange sort of point where all the city seemed to lose steam, where more of the land is used for roads than housing, and is still more open grassland, as yet unclaimed by urban sprawl. Carve was staring out the windows, chewing his gum to calm his nerve. Senda couldn't take her eyes off her watch until Gamut broke her concentration. "We're here." Gamut slowly decelerated, rolled to a stop beside a well-forested area, then pulled up the handbrake. She unbuckled her seatbelt, got out of the car, momentarily stretching her arms and legs. Cav opened the glove compartment, pulled out a small stack of papers held together with a thick elastic band, then got out himself. He turned, opening Senda's door for her, and gesturing to her with a smile. "Out we get, Miss Pruitt. Watch your step, and all that." Senda grabbed the handle of the rusty toolbox and stood up outside the door. Gamut enters. Gamut answers as she walked around to the front of the car, running her hands through her short pink hair. "We have a 5-minute walk through these trees, then we hit an open field. Our plane is waiting there." Senda nodded. Gamut pulled out a compass from her pocket, looking at it intensely. Senda stared, confused. "So it's just past these trees?" "Yes, but we need this to get through. Walking in a straight line can be difficult in the wrong places, if you get my gist." Gamut tapped the side of her nose, then started walking into the greenery. Cav gestured for Senda to follow behind, and then fell into the back of the queue. They continued to walk. Senda caught herself from erring from Gamut's lead twice, involuntarily drifting from the intended path. After 5 minutes, as they expected, they exited into a wide clearing. A small white aeroplane sat in the middle of a short paved runway. The trio walked up to the side of it. Gamut pulled a key from her pocket, pushed it into the small hatch on the side, and then swung it open. Cav stepped in first, offering a helping hand to Senda, and Gamut closed the door behind her. Gamut walked to the one-pilot cockpit, having to crouch slightly to get around. Cav and Senda sat in the 2 seats behind, buckling up their harnesses. Senda rested the rusty toolbox in front of her, and then queried Cav. "So, where to now?" "Next stop? London. Too much Foundation presence here in America. Safer in England." "And we're going there in this?" "Yeah. Were you expecting a commercial flight?" "Well, it's just a bit small. Small enough not to be detected. Even if..." Just a second, Emo. "Even if we weren't already shielded in 100 different ways." "I see." Ex-Site Director Pruitt looked back at her watch, feeling her seat vibrate as the engine started up. Gamut started to accelerate. The small plane hurtled down the runway, then lifted off the ground. Senda felt her stomach drop more than mere air sickness. 83 minutes until Seattle was irrecoverable. The pair conversed through the car ride, much to the chagrin of the man tied up in the back of the van. Not because he cared much one way or another on the topic of conversation, which was him, but he had hoped to catch a nap while he was tied up. Had they been quiet, the rain would have been fairly soothing. He couldn't have figured out who we are on his own. Flanagan crunched the numbers. He should be able to understand groups of at least 6 or 7 times as big as us, or else he would have seen us coming. The owner of the level voice, a heavily tattooed woman that looked to be in her mid-50s, adjusted the rear room mirror to better focus on Gabriel's face. That, or he's completely incompetent. Are you sure this isn't part of some big plan of his? A much younger and sustainably louder voice emanated from the driver's seat. To get caught by us for whatever reason, and to use us to do whatever it is he's up to? Seemingly becoming aware of our own voice. The wide-eyed individual quieted down. I mean, it's not like we'd have really a choice if that was his plan. Z coughed. The sound of clanking metal and a brief puff of black smoke issuing from Year's throat. Gabriel's boredom was briefly tinged with amusement. And don't worry about it. You don't trust Flanagan's analysis? That's fine. The woman who called herself Dead-Eye Alligator withdrew a phone from her bag and started tapping. I'll just let them know that you've spent 12 years studying economy and cultural trends and develop a coherent theory of meta-aware mind thriller. Z preferred to be addressed. Interrupted. Yes, I get that there's some sort of ridiculous prodigy. We've established it. Z voice began to rise again, less of its own accord and more to be heard over the sirens. It's just that, I don't know. I'm iffy on this. You signed on to be the getaway driver for a kidnapping without being sure of the mission? DA was forced to brace herself as the van took a precisely timed turn down an alleyway at MT's behest. Not that I could fault your work. Of course I did. And if I didn't, you'd still do it. Except you might get caught. Having given the assertion through an evaluation, Gabriel decided to weigh in with a statement he hoped was not overly controversial. You're about to drive into a wall. This appeared to be true. In this weather, and at these speeds, hitting the brakes would be of little use. Thought you should know. As this was stated, D.A. was already unrolling a sleeve, revealing a tattoo of a knotted snake on a starry background. Don't worry. Within perhaps 2 seconds before impact, D.A. placed a finger on the knot, and the van drove through the wall, unimpeded, into an inky black abyss. The only light came from D.A.'s arm, which dulled a dull yellow. Gabriel looked out the window. Oh. As her eyes adjusted to the sudden change in lighting, it became clear that the darkness was merely nighttime. A desert landscape was visible around them. MT glanced back and smiled after slowing the van to a stop. Yeah, magic. Cops don't really expect it. DA, mind getting us back to the hideout? Sure thing. Addressing the prisoner. It's a little bit convoluted, but you get used to it. Placing a finger on a different tattoo, one of a turtle with too many legs. The surroundings changed to a dingy garage, or rather, what could have been one, had it contained any opening large enough to move a van through. Okay. Gabriel neither resisted nor complied as MT threw his light flame over Zier's shoulder and headed through the room's singular door into a cellar furnished with comfortable-looking furniture, a tiny kitchen, and 3 gun safes. After being deposited on a couch with a denim cover, he made no effort to move or sit up. Not feeling talkative? DA and MT removed their coats, bulletproof vests, and shoes, as DA retightened the cord tying Gabriel's hands behind his back. MT continued. Or do you not just care? The latter. And I read faster than you talk. So give me a copy of your manifesto before telling me to help you smash the system or whatever. And yes, I care enough about not being tortured or neglected to help you further your goals. Pauses. And I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty too. Also, looking back, everybody, I didn't realize there was an ad. Gabriel calmly took several sips of water before pulling away from the glass's brim. Having intimate knowledge of every single significant formal and informal system and organization in the world makes people easy to predict, even if they're working mostly outside of it. What shall I call you to? We go by the name of our blogs. MT cleared Zier's throat, breaking eye contact. Clearly. I'm Mind Thriller, and she's Dead Alligator. It's easier just to say MT and DA. And you know about me, I assume? Gabriel nodded in understanding. They yawned. Your ex-serpent's hand, right? That's probably important. Z sighed. DA is. She tried to get me into it, but it wasn't for me. Zier didn't lift as DA re-entered the room with a tablet computer, which she placed on Gabriel's lap. We're gonna untie you now, and I assume you know better than to try anything? DA reached behind Gabriel's back and carried out this. You could snap me in half if you wanted. This was the apparent intended as an answer, as he said nothing further while he read. He did pick up the glass of water and down it as he read. Several minutes passed in silence, Gabriel occasionally swiping to the left on the tablet screen, while DA sent some text, and MT kept Zier focused on Gabriel. While after reaching the end, he spoke. I can see why you're not affiliated with any larger group. There aren't many that would be to your liking. And this would be flatly impossible without my assistance. But it's possible with your assistance. DA sat up and turned her attention to Gabriel as she spoke. Yes, I've already got most of the plan done. I just need to speak to Graf first. He handed the tablet back to DA. The mathematician going by Flanagan, that you've mentioned earlier. You've figured out Flanagan's identity? MT tilted Zier's head at this. How on earth? Gabriel, in an unprecedented display of emotion, sighed a bit. I cover my tracks well. To figure out that I'm anyone but a reclusive, self-made billionaire, you would need a genius with a supercomputer, and an advanced understanding of memetics, economy, and sociology. The SCP Foundation is the only group that has geniuses, supercomputers, and an established study of memetics. The Chaos Insurgency does too, actually, but they would have caught a traitor much faster. Oh. MT did this. They didn't mention that. The Foundation keeps very extensive records of their memeticists, so I know all of them. Only Dr. Vanessa Graf has the background and the affiliations that would suggest any interest in this. Gabriel pointed at the tablet. I need her here so I can have more information on your resources and talk particulars. You also need to meet her in person, if you haven't. DA trailed off, disconnected. We'll check in with them on that. She pulled her phone back out and sent it to another text. Okay. Gabriel stretched a bit, yawning again. Where's the bathroom? MT pointed at the door that DA entered through. Down the hall on your left, and you can sleep in the guest bedroom across the hall. Gabriel nodded, then stood up and walked out of the room without a word. MT turned to DA, a bit too loudly. So how much of that did you believe? DA shrugged. Well, judging by Flanagan's reaction, he'd at least ID'd them correctly. She showed her recent text to MT, a screen full of explicitives and incentive. So, I guess that much is true. It doesn't matter what we believe about the rest. Personally, he's probably right about us needing him. So, MT sighed. We're meeting Flanagan, or Graff in person? Yup. A buzzing indication that DA received another text. Whiskey checked. Oh. Restaurant in Seattle in an hour. Think you can handle that? MT grinned, showing a mouthful of chrome teeth. Shouldn't be too hard. The pair began prepping for the next excursion, grabbing their coats, vests, and firearms. Have Search Novikov drop by to keep an eye on Gabriel. I don't want him unsupervised. Got it. DA sent another text, then turned towards the bathroom to yell, We're heading out to meet Graff. Someone is going to drop by to keep an eye on you. Don't fuck anything up. The pair exited the garage. The sound of doors opening and closing were heard, following by the start of the van's engine, which abruptly cut off in silence. Shortly afterwards, the toilet was flushed. Gabriel walked over to the guest bedroom, then lied down in its doorway, and promptly fell asleep. It had been a long day, and it was finally quiet. This story set has been awesome. I think we should read more of it next time. Actually, no. I think we'll read one more, because I feel like it's getting good, right? How about it? One more? Uno más? Uno más? Uno más? I hope you're following along with the story. Arthur Roderick gazed up at the massive building before him, underneath his umbrella. Giant glowing letters that read Prometheus Labs Incorporated. Arthur thought it a little odd to pick up such an unprofessional font, but he had to admit it fit the Greek styles present in the organization's name and their facilities' architecture. Once under the colonnade, Arthur collapsed his umbrella and pushed through the double doors. He couldn't quite put his finger on the reason, but something about the building put him off. He hadn't experienced the feeling until he entered, but the moment he passed through the doorway, he couldn't help but feel that something was different, somehow. The rounded lobby led off into several directions, several different subsections of the facility, keypads and card scanners the only acting guards. Sitting in the center of the room was a receptionist, nose deep in a book. A researcher sat on the edge of the receptionist desk, a clipboard in one hand and a very bored look on her face. Arthur's footsteps echoed more times than he thought they really had any right to. The two women looked at him with bored indifference. Hello, my name is Arthur Roderick. I'm from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. This was not entirely a lie. Arthur was legally employed by OSHA, though he arguably paid businesses less visits than, oh? Was that a alert? I didn't know you spoke French. No, I do not speak French. I lost where I was. Okay. Flattery immediately makes me lose where I am when I'm reading. Though he arguably paid businesses less visits than most of his co-workers. This was due to the fact that Arthur had paid visits to very particular types of organizations, those designated to be a possible cause of worry for the Foundation. The researcher was probably aware of this, but for the sake of classification,